Good morning, beautiful survivors, and to all of the amazing people who are standing behind you and supporting the survivors in your lives. My name is Christy, and today I want to go over the effects of Cptsd that can be developed after being in a relationship with a narcissistic individual. There are many symptoms that can occur with this disorder. Today, I'm just going to go over a couple of them and what you can do as an individual and what you can do as a support system for an individual who is experiencing such symptoms. Key to remember is, there is help, there is hope, and it takes time, it takes patience, and there are days that that don't go as planned, and just remember, just do your best, and it's okay to not be okay. So one of the I think biggest things that you yourself or the individual in your lives that are supporting you may notice is this drastic change in emotional shifts. This is typically something that has or can occur from a trigger from the past, and you may project this anger, depression, sadness onto other problems that are occurring, but your brain is still remembering that trauma that it experienced over and over and over from the past. So you have this like kind of disassociative, anger built up, and your emotions are shifting, of something, in the present moment, that really probably has nothing to do with why you're even upset. So the thing to remember here is, remind yourself, this is an emotional trigger. This is an emotional trigger. This is an emotional trigger. To those who are supporting you, you may have to, in a non-judgmental, non-criticizal, way, suggest to the individual, or, ask the individual, did something happen that maybe has triggered you? Did something I say, did something I do, did something somebody else say or do, get you to, bring up something, that had occurred before. It seems silly, but it does help. And, in time, you will be able to kind of pick up on these things, notice what it is that's triggering you, and, try to avoid these things, especially at the beginning. Sometimes it's impossible to avoid all of them, and sometimes it's impossible to recognize all of them. The key, though, is to just, try to pick up on these, quick emotional shifts in behavior, and your emotions, and, try to remind yourself that this is just a trigger. This is just a trigger. One of the other big things that is often developed is this like need for isolation. A lot of people have been isolated within their relationship, and it's kind of hard for these survivors to initially overcome of it. Also, a lot of it has to do with, there's a lot of shame, blame, and whys going on that have developed from the aftermath of the relationship once that the discard has happened, and it tends to make you want to withdraw, and your decrease in trust for others has intensified, and you're confused, and you're even questioning your own judging character and your own capacity to trust others. So you tend to just want to like pull back, withdraw, stay by yourself. What you can do for yourself is to try to encourage yourself, slowly, baby steps, to just do a little bit more, try to get back out there with people, try to remind yourself that, that there is trust out there, that, not everybody is, narcissistic, and that, you can believe in yourself to have, a good judging character. For those who are supporting them, don't pressure them into doing anything that, they don't want to do, but often, try to encourage them, try to, remind them of, the fun that they used to have, or, the event that's coming up is going to be a good time. And, in time, you'll be able to experience being around others again, crowds, and that, there is trust, and you can have faith, and, that there isn't anything really to gain to be isolated all of the time. Another big one is this ideation for perfectionism. Oftentimes, after being or being with somebody who is narcissistic, there's always this seek for validation and for reassurance, and this is often developed because of getting silent treatments, and disapproval and disregard, over and over and over during the course of the relationship. Sorry. This can be very, very frustrating for individuals with the Cptsd, because it often, doesn't allow them to get their tasks completed. Their punctuality is off, and they're just never satisfied, with, like the end result, or even getting to the end result. So they're quickly, jumping to the next thing. I know it's one of the things that I struggle with, immensely. And I think sometimes you just have to remind yourself again, that this is good enough, that this is okay. And, really push yourself to try to get through that task, and don't allow yourself to start another task until that one is complete. Sometimes you need to-do list, just to make sure you're staying on task, staying on focused, because, being able to keep your focus is, another effect from the Cptsd. They all kind of like snowball one into the other ones, which is why it is so debilitating to the people who are enduring it. So big thing is, reminders, and for the survivors, remember that the fear of abandonment and their need for approval and for validation that has developed after being in the narcissistic relationship is very real, and that, as frustrating as sometimes it can be, not only to the individual, but even probably more so to the supporters out there. Don't block them off. Don't try to, withdraw from the situation, or to, avoid dealing with their emotional triggers, because this will only exacerbate the effects of the Cptsd within the survivor. So just try to remember it's common, it's not personal on either levels, and that, with patience and with, the love and support with each other, that it is something that can not only be, helped, decreased, but over time overcome.